Hey guys, welcome back for tomorrow, April 20th. Um, we're going to start working a little bit on the micro units. So we are not, I will share the micro review sheet with you, just like the macro one, blank ones, and then the answers at the end. We're not going to do unit one again because we've already done unit one when we talked about it in macro. It's still the same stuff. So we're going to do unit two. Supply and demand and all the consumer choice stuff that goes along with that. We're going to spend a couple of days on this. So today, or for the Monday, I shared with you some additional Unit 2 practice questions. And then your attendance question is a question about supply and demand with a price ceiling. So you need to look over that. But we're also gonna do a little practice with supply and demand graphs unit, and then after that we'll do the market structures. Because remember, guys, 70% of the test has always been supply and demand, and then the four market structures. I'm still pretty convinced that even though it's two short answer questions, there's going to be a lot of stuff about the market structures and supply and demand in those two questions. So like I said, I'm going to share this with you. So supply and demand, why is it down? Why is demand downward sloping? Why is supply upward sloping? Law of demand, law of supply. They might ask you to explain those things in the short answer question before moving on to other things. Um, so remember, law of demand: if price goes up, demand goes down. If price goes down, quantity demanded goes up. Law of supply: price and the quantity supplied do the same thing. If price goes up, the supply of a product will go up. And if price goes down, the supply of product will go down. Think about demand is from the consumer's point of view. Supply is always from the producer's point of view. So if I'm a consumer, I want to buy less stuff if it costs more. If I'm a producer, I'm going to put more in the market if I can sell it for a higher price. Why is demand downward sloping? Remember, you need to know the three reasons why: substitution effect, income effect, law of diminishing marginal utility. We will replace higher substitution effect. We'll buy cheaper goods that are substitutes. Income effect: if we feel like we have more purchasing power, we buy more stuff. If we feel like we have less purchasing power, we're going to buy less. And then the law of diminishing marginal utility: every time you buy something, you get less satisfaction from it. So the only way you'll keep buying more of it is if the price drops to match your decreasing satisfaction. Because remember, maximizing your utility, you should only buy something if the utility you're getting from it is higher than or equal to what you're paying for it. Why is supply upward sloping? Um, Law of diminishing marginal return: since every unit you make costs more, you have to sell it for more to keep making more. And then opportunity cost. At a higher price, profit-seeking firms have an incentive to put more product out there. All right. And then remember what causes changes in quantity. If the only thing that changes is price, you're only moving along the supply and demand curve. And then here are the shifters for demand. Here are the shifters for supply. Here's your supply and demand curve. Supply, demand, just basic supply and demand curve. Okay. Floors and ceilings. This is also the one where we talk about consumer surplus, producer surplus, and efficiency. So here's all a graph based on all of that. So make sure you look over all of this stuff, guys. What happens if they both shift? If two curves shift at the same time, either price or quantity will be indeterminate. So if we move both graphs at the same time, we will know one of the two things, but one will be indeterminate. It just depends on which thing they did. So this says if demand increases and supply increase, so we shifted both curves to the right, then the only thing we know for sure is there's going to be more quantity. We don't know what the price is going to do. Elasticity, remember inelastic, there's few substitutes, they're necessities, and the coefficient of elasticity is less than 1. Elastic demand, right? Many substitutes, luxuries, etc., etc. Here's the elasticity demand coefficients. I will also share with you the micro equations for everything you need. Consumer choice, Remember, this is where if you have a certain amount of money, you have to spend between two things. You remember to maximize your utility, you spend all the dollars, and then you figure out which your marginal utility per dollar spent of the two goods has to equal. So 2 and 2. So if I had 20, let's see, I have $25. I'm going to go to 2 movies, which is $20, and one go kart ride, which is $5. That's where the margin utility per dollar spent equals, and that's where I will spend my money. Right. So that's what we're going to look at today is Unit 2, and then we will do Unit 3, which is perfect competition, and right here, perfect competition. And then we'll do all the other stuff, monopoly, monopolistic competition, all that. So you can start working through the review sheet. We're just working on Unit 2, which is supply and demand. Practice questions. I save them as a Google Doc. I'll share a copy with everybody. Just highlight the right answers and turn that in when you do it. And remember, this part will be due by Wednesday. The attendance check is an open response. So I'm giving you the graph to work with here, and you just answer the question. What would the price of homes be in this market if there was no price ceiling? Why does an effective price ceiling have to be below the equilibrium price? And then what is the amount of shortage in this market? So that's your attendance check for tomorrow. Supply and demand and price ceilings and price floors. Okay, so that's what this basically is about. Unit 2 is all the supply and demand stuff, what shifts the curves, when you not shift, what's producer surplus, what's consumer surplus, and everything else just goes along with supply and demand. So remember, consumer surplus is what consumers were willing to pay, but we got it at a lower price. So the consumer surplus is money that consumers were willing to spend that they didn't have to. Producer surplus. So on this graph here, $10 was the equilibrium price before the taxes. So there were producers that were going to be willing to sell their product for less than $10. So remember, producer surplus is this whole triangle below the equilibrium price. Consumer surplus is the area of the triangle above equilibrium. That is where you maximize what's left over. Consumer surplus is what the money that consumers didn't have to spend that they thought they were going to have to. Producer surplus is the money that businesses earned that some businesses didn't think they were going to get. And then, of course, elasticity and inelastic. Inelastic is it's a good that really doesn't matter what the price is, we're going to buy it. So gas is normally a good example. Although gas prices are really, really cheap right now, thanks to no one being able to drive anywhere, we have lots and lots of supply of gas. So what happens to the price of goods when there's excess supply? And what happens when there's excess demand? Normally, in the summer or around this time, gas prices go up because more people are driving, going on vacation, starting to travel. And right now, no one's going anywhere because of the quarantine. So we have an excess supply of gasoline, and you're starting to see like OPEC and other countries that aren't even part of OPEC. They had a meeting the other day, and they've all agreed to cut production. And we're going to talk about how successful that'll be, because remember, OPEC's a cartel, and what happens when cartels agree to cut production? There's always an incentive for one country to not cut production and cheat, and then the whole thing falls apart. So we'll see how that plays out. But right now, there's not enough demand. So even though OPEC has announced they're going to cut production, lower supply, it's probably not going to impact gas prices all that much. I saw gas this morning for $1.29. So the last time gas was that cheap was when I was in high school. So it's been a while. I know some of you know I'm pretty old, so I graduated in 1994. So it was a big deal in 1991. Gas prices went up to like $1.35 a gallon because of the first Persian Gulf War, and people were just shocked that we were gonna gas was so expensive. I think when I started driving when I was 16, so 1992, gas was like 89 cents a gallon. So we're falling back down to like, you know, Donnie in high school or Mr. Payne in high school and early college prices here. So it's kind of interesting. See how much they keep falling. By the way, the stock market game did end on Friday, and I believe some of your classmates and I'll have to figure out which teams these were, but I think we had a second and a third place team in the stock market game this year. Now, the trip to Little Rock not going to happen, but they probably will still send us your cash reward. So let's see here. That's not what I want. I want the coordinator rankings. Oh, hold on. I logged into the wrong thing here. Let me go to my. I finished third. I ended up in third, so I'm not gonna get anything, but it's okay. I should have shorted my Tesla when everything started plummeting. Went from having a $40,000 first place lead to finishing in third. So, but I still made money, so I'm happy with that. Let's see here. So the final rankings, yes, from my 0A class, whichever team is AR24ZZ346, they finished in second in the state with $161,000. Oh, in this group, they were in third. It looks like they're going to actually finish in fourth. So I have a second place team and a fourth place team this year. 11th place team, first hour, chamber choir is their passcode. So that's probably like Zach and Grace would be my guess. But we'll see here. Anybody else? So, but several groups made money, it looks like, at least. Let's view all the rankings here. We'll do region, because that's really, you just have to win the region or place in the region to get money. So, yes, Bentonville High School, second place, $14,000 behind the first place team from Southside, but their percentage return was 65%. So they were 65% above what the S&P 500 did. So they did very well, and I'll figure out which group this is, so we can really congratulate them also. So, guys, if you want to go check the stock market game, see what how you finished, because I don't. If you guys didn't change your name to, oh, excuse me, some groups gave themselves a nickname, so I'm more likely to remember those than that just went Z, left it alone. So, but whoever, congratulations to whichever people are that second place team. You guys should probably get, all right, they'll probably send it to the school. I don't know. But if they do, we'll make sure you get your cash prize, your cash reward for finishing second. And I'm sorry that you won't, they'll probably still send the certificates and everything, but you won't get to go to the banquet in Little Rock this year. So, but congratulations anyway on placing. And I'll make sure that people are notified so we know that they can recognize you guys for doing that. So for tomorrow, starting micro. So once again, I've given you the blank sheet. If you want to go back over and do the basic stuff again and make sure you can get it, there it is. But we're really concerned about Unit 2. Answer the 20 multiple choice questions for Wednesday. Just highlight the answer and turn it in. And make sure you do the attendance question, which is the graph with a price ceiling on it. And we'll on tomorrow I'll have my office hours going from 9 I went blank. 9:15 to 10:45 is when I'm going to do my office hours. And also, guys, I'm going to put in all the extra. So last week I asked you guys what more macro stuff did you need. I heavily lean to Agrospy demand and Phillips curve stuff. So I'm going to put some extra Agrospy demand Phillips curve problems and some FRQs from that are the release FRQs that have Agrospy demand Phillips curve stuff to practice. And on the next class, or on Wednesday's video, I'll go through a couple of the Agrospy demand Phillips curve FRQs that I post. And now I'm not going to do like an answer where you have to turn those in, but if you want to practice answering them, then I will explain them on the next video, the ones that I posted. All right. So I hope everyone had a good weekend. And we've got seniors, you only have just a few more days. So we're April 20th. You've got like 3 weeks left. And then you guys will be done. And then, but please keep checking back in and doing going through all the review stuff. Remember, they moved our test back. So your test is not until May 20th for micro at 3 o'clock and May 21st for macro at 3 o'clock. And I'll do a big review session the night before for both of those, or the day before, probably a couple of times, so we can log in when you can log in. All right, so hang in there, guys. Keep working on the micro stuff. And just because micro is so long ago, there are going to be a couple. So like when we do perfect competition, I am going to actually give you an open response perfect competition question that'll be like a quiz grade. So it'll be an unassisted grade. And it'll be a little one, like 5 points, 10 points. But it'll be enough that if you do well on them, they can help you out. But if you didn't do too well, they're not going to be enough points where they should hurt you too bad. And other than that, hope everyone had a good weekend. And I'll hopefully see some of you guys. Have a good rest of your weekend and see some of you guys tomorrow, hopefully. Bye.